Hey guys, it's Elliott Booth and this is the Tattoo Removal Australia show. Say goodbye to the myths, confusions and misconceptions of the tattoo removal industry and say hello to real information, real clients and real results. Welcome to the TRA show with myself and my beautiful co-host Rita Da Silva, where we take you beyond the trend.
Guys, today you have a Q&A. That's where you submit the questions and we give you the answers. You can submit the questions in a few different ways. First way is by mail. Email us the questions to askelliott@tattooremovalaus.com.au.
Thank you, Rita. Or you can go onto YouTube and drop your questions in the comment section below the videos, and we will choose some out of there. Thank you for joining us, guys. A little bit about the show. There's shows within the show. So today, and sometimes we'll have Q&A, and other times we will invite real clients from the clinic to come in and join us to talk and share about their tattoo removal journey and their experience. I'm funding this show completely out of my own pocket, and the sole purpose of that is to give you unbiased, unpersuaded opinions about tattoo removal. I want to be a wealth of knowledge and answer your questions and guide you in a confusing and often cryptic industry. The only thing that I ask is that you share the show by leaving a 5-star Google review on the Tattoo Removal Australia business page. That one review helps drive new clients to me, which then helps me guide them through to a successful removal. So please leave a Google review. It is a lot more than what it seems, and it means the world to us. Thank you. We are live, Rita. Ready to go?
Yes, ready.
Welcome back to show number 2. We thank you for joining us and asking questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
How have you been, Rita? How's your week?
I've been very good. It's been a beautiful week and I'm ready to dive into some questions.
Yeah. Is work keeping you nice and busy?
Yeah, like end of the year, everyone wants like body transformation.
Everyone, it's summertime. This shit, I'm fat. Should have started in winter. It's the same old thing, year in and year out.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what's really funny?
Yeah.
This wasn't planned, but this is an amazing segue. I actually find in the tattoo removal clinic, it gets busier when it gets hotter, which is kind of, I feel like, I don't know exactly why, but I feel like people are swimming more, maybe wearing less clothes, and I feel like the tattoo regret might come to the front of their mind.
Right.
Every year, without fail, November, December, skyrockets.
Yeah.
The amount of new clients starting their removal, little do they know they should have started 2 years ago. But yeah, it's so funny. Every time it gets hot,
totally sense.
I imagine you see the same thing.
Exactly.
Summer comes and they're like, quick.
As soon as everyone has more exposure, like to parties, to summer, to different outfits.
Yeah.
Not only like the winter cozy.
Pull the bikini out.
So definitely, it's always, it's a great way to have like set up your new resolutions.
Yeah.
And I believe then tattoo removal, it's a great resolution.
Yeah, new year, new me. Let's be honest, a lot of that old you lingers into the new year.
Yeah.
Now I've heard you got some good questions. There's been a few emails coming through to the Ask Elliott email address. So thank you guys. I really appreciate you engaging with the show. It means a lot and it's kind of reassuring. We knew it would be interesting, but it's nice to get you guys questions and get your interaction. So thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. So here we go. Our first question.
Jumping in, number one.
On your episode last week, you mentioned you do a tattoo removal training course. Is this a necessity to do a tattoo removal as a job? Also, thank you for starting this podcast. I think it's such a great source of information of an industry that it's so confusing. This came from Annabelle.
Thank you for the paragraph. I've already forgot the beginning of the question. No, thank you.
It's about the course.
It's our pleasure to do the show. Yeah. So thank you for engaging with it. The tattoo removal course. And then there was a second question, which was, is this to do this as a job?
Yeah, to do as a job.
Oh, okay, cool. The Tattoo Removal Australia Academy is basically a course where it's not a simple tick and flick This is a pretty broad question to unpack. So let me start first with the different states in Australia have different requirements.
Yeah.
This might be an easier way to answer this. So a bit of broad information. Australia, when it comes to the tattoo removal industry, doesn't have a blanket rule. It's actually state by state. So different states require different licenses or different levels of training. So it's not all equal. So what I do at the Academy, I have a couple of different options. We do a Queensland Radiation Health 100 logbook hours, which is a required element for your tattoo removal Queensland license. So I do offer that. However, it's probably more popular is this other avenue where it's basically the Academy. And what the TRA Academy is, it's really for people almost like myself when they're first starting out in tattoo removal. It's a lot more than 100 clinical hours, tick and flick, there's your license, goodbye.
Right.
What the TRA Academy is, it's for somebody going into business for themselves. So let's say you go, okay, I want to get into tattoo removal. And to be honest, this might be a few of you listening. If you want to open up a tattoo removal clinic, but you don't know where to start, you don't know what machines achieve what results, you don't know what machines cost what and what you can charge for your treatments, all of the above. I basically have a TRA Academy, which I deliver all of this knowledge that I've acquired over my 10 or 11 years on a platter. So the advantage of that is you can learn everything that I know.
Yeah.
Without having to learn it the hard way. So basically you can have all of my knowledge, all of the experience, and really confidently go into business for yourself. It's your clinic, it's your business, but you have the knowledge and my support when it comes to equipment and little things like that. So kind of
breaking down like all the process and...
Yeah, so the tattoo removal process, obviously, but... a lot more than correct.
Like,
yeah. So basically how to succeed. I like to believe that I offer an opportunity where you can open up a new clinic. However, you can have more knowledge than your competitors.
Yeah, it sounds very valuable.
Yeah.
Because like it's not only about getting a graduation or a certification, you kind of like you give the support.
The experience.
Through the way as well, through the experience.
Yeah.
So,
because in my opinion, anybody can open up a tattoo removal clinic.
Yeah.
And then you sort of pretending like there's no real support and there's no, as far as I'm aware, that Tattoo Removal Australia Academy is the only sort of service, for lack of a better word, like this. I don't believe there's anywhere else in Australia that you can acquire tattoo removal operators knowledge as well as
personalized.
Yeah, personalized experience.
Yeah.
You know, to me, it was a no-brainer to offer this to people to be able to teach them.
There you go. Yeah.
There is obviously another part of that question, which was about if you need it for a job.
Yes.
Like I alluded to before, the different states in Australia have different regulations. Obviously, we're based in Queensland. We're here on the Gold Coast, so I know Queensland Radiation Health better than a lot of the other states. However, in Brisbane or Queensland, Gold Coast, wherever you are in Queensland, you need a Queensland Radiation Health license. So there's a few online certificates, which are pretty easy, 100 clinical logbook hours, which I do offer. And then you leave the clinic fully licensed. So it's kind of like, I relate it to your driver's license. You know, when you probably didn't have to, not being from Australia, but you have your 100 logbook hours that you have to do for your driving experience.
Oh,
really similar to that.
Right.
So Queensland has that, in my opinion, perfect. And the reason I say Queensland has it perfect is there is a few states, one of which is New South Wales, one of which is Victoria, and I believe another might be ACT, but don't hold me to that. You don't need anything. So there's...
That's so scary.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know, to be honest. And a lot of people, I would imagine 99 out of 100 people, consumers getting tattoo removal in these states probably don't know that. There is no requirement. There's no licensing. Anybody can buy a machine, open up a clinic and laser you. Truly terrifying, in my opinion.
My gosh. Imagine people like burning skin without the knowledge of how to operate it. Like the laser machine must be like, sounds a little bit, scary.
It's scary for sure. And you know, when you think of Australia, you think of this first world country, got their shit together, you know.
Full of requirements.
Quite strict, and it's not really the case.
Legislations and everything. So
it's really not the case. I feel like Queensland has it perfect. New South Wales, Victoria, somewhat scary. Fun fact though, WA, I believe this has changed in the last couple of years, but many years ago you had to be a doctor. So to operate a medical grade tattoo removal laser in Western Australia, you actually had to be a GP. So tattoo removal in Western Australia was about 3 or 4 times the price. And a trickle effect of that, I actually have 2 clients that come to me in Brisbane that live in Perth. Believe it or not. So tattoo removal in Perth was so expensive. I'm not sure if it still is because I believe now they've dropped that to nurses. So you have to be a registered nurse to do tattoo removal. However, from my understanding is tattoo removal in WA at least was that expensive that I got a few clients from Perth that when they travel to see their family in Brisbane, they come to me.
There you go.
Which is pretty scary as well. And, you know, I could only imagine how many people would go from WA to South Australia and get a treatment. So it's really strange. Australia has these different rules and regulations, some scary, some overkill. Like I think being a doctor is a little bit ridiculous. Nothing against doctors, but a GP has like a shallow knowledge of a lot. If anything, you'd rather a dermatologist or somebody that specializes in skin, not somebody that specializes in everything.
Totally sense.
To answer our question, it really depends where you live. If you need the TRA Academy, in my opinion, you need the academy anyway for your experience.
Yeah, because you buy the experience of learning like such. Like a very complex process.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. So if you're, let's say in Victoria, you don't need any license. You can open up. But on that note, it's actually pretty cool. So early next year, I have a lady coming from New South Wales. So she is aware that there's no radiation health license. There's no government body that governs tattoo removal. She's aware of that, but she actually sees the value in coming to the TRA Academy up here in the Gold Coast for a couple of weeks to do the training, acquire every tool in the tool belt to open up a clinic and succeed. And that's in New South Wales. So she'll get a Tattoo Removal Australia certificate, which I'm just trying to give a bit of
You must be
trust.
excited like to share like everything what you have learned in your last 10 years. Of experience.
If you can't tell, tattoo removal is my thing. So I love to be able to share it with people. And it's kind of cool because, you know, we're so far away. It's not like I'm giving a competitor next door to me. These tools, I want to see everybody win, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I just see they're very valuable as well. There you go, Annabelle.
Long answer, sorry.
Your question was answered. So here we go. Question number 2. I heard that colors can be difficult to remove.
Colors, yep.
Yeah, colors.
Sorry,
difficult to remove. Is this true?
Yeah. Straight to the nuts and bolts.
Thank you, Zach. That was from Zach. Yeah.
Really good question. And this impacts everybody. You know, this is a question that anybody that wants tattoo removal needs to know this. Colors don't all remove equally, or I should say not every tattoo removes equally. When a client comes to me, either during a consultation or at their first treatment, we sit down. And the first thing is what result is achievable for them individually. For example, black and red tattoos remove amazingly. It's kind of lucky because 98%, I'm just making this up, but 98% of tattoos are black. So if you have a black tattoo, amazing results are achievable, which is lucky, but not everybody's that lucky. There's a fair few colors, say for example, blues and greens are notoriously difficult. As of recent, some technology has evolved, as everything does, and there is lasers that treat blues and greens really well. However, the most common one on the market, I won't name names, but I keep seeing it's struggling for black. So there's this quite popular tattoo removal laser. It does amazing results for blue and green, but it's dropping the ball for black tattoos. I've seen it that often that I won't invest in that technology, because sacrificing the results of your black tattoos just to be able to treat blues and greens, not a good business move. So when clients come to me with blues and greens, I basically say it's a 2-part thing. I can remove your black amazingly. When you have this pure blue and green, which you will have, you know, there's no sort of getting around that. You know, it's really important to know what to expect before you start. And then when they have pure blue or green, there's an option for this other laser. But I don't recommend that laser to begin with, because you'll have troubles removing the black. It does remove the black, just way more treatments than what I sort of think's normal.
Right.
So
interesting.
Most colors can be removed. It's just kind of working out. And you really hope that your provider gives you this accurate information. But yeah, so it depends on what laser they have and what their strengths and weaknesses are. To go into a little bit further into a rabbit hole, they have an American company has worked out this. So it's not news to, you know, these tattoo removal laser companies. They know that this certain machine, it's not being as effective for black. So they've actually developed a machine that starts at nanosecond. Well, I shouldn't say starts. It has both. So it has a nanosecond setting, which is the lasers I use, because they're the most successful for black. Then there's also picosecond setting. So they've come to realize that pico is really important for colors. Nano is really good for black. And they've made a machine that has both, which sounds like the Holy Grail. And to be honest, it is the Holy Grail, but there's one really big problem, and the cost of this machine is eye-watering.
Really?
Even if I could afford it, I never would, because from a business point of view, if I buy this machine, which is triple the price of my current machine, now I have triple the outlay for this capital investment for this laser. I can laser a couple percent more tattoos. Let's say if I'm doing 98% black tattoos, now I can do 100%. I've picked up that 2%, not really worth triple the outlay. And the unfortunate fact is that the tattoo removal price has to go up. Because my lasers triple the price, I have to charge more. And remember what I said in the last week's episode, how the price, everybody asks the per treatment price. I can't charge more because the I shouldn't say the normal, but the common tattoo removal consumer wants to know the price per treatment. So they don't care about, they don't know about the machines. So
how much the laser costs,
so they're going to see the price,
how much you pay like for renting the space, the new work.
Yeah, they just see like, the per treatment price. They see the per treatment price and they don't come to me. So I can already see this happening. You know, this laser does exist. No one has it. As far as I'm aware, there's not a clinic that uses this. I believe there is some around in Australia where doctors use it for skin treatments, but there's not tattoo removal clinics using these lasers because it's just simply not affordable.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you. There you go, Zach. Okay. And then here we go.
Yeah, feel free to elaborate a bit more if you want. We're flying through the questions. I'm trying to broaden up the answers as much as I can.
So the question number 3 is, hi, Elliott. I find it so interesting that someone covered in tattoos does tattoo removal. How did you get into it? From Amanda.
Thank you, Amanda.
Yeah.
You must have listened to last week's episode. Lucky I wanted to burn some time because I can answer this very long-winded.
How did you get into tattoo removal?
At the very start of my journey, I didn't know I wanted to do tattoo removal. So I remember I was about 18, 19 years old and I was an apprentice plumber. While I was an apprentice plumber, I started getting tattoos, hand tattoos, things like this. And much to my mother's disapproval, but we just go and do it anyway. Sorry, Mum.
Yeah.
For years, Mum was always saying, it sounded like a joke. Oh, you should get into tattoo removal so you can remove that hand tattoo. And I would shrug it off. Oh, whatever. Yeah, real funny, Mum. Ha, 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 And one day I turned about 21. It didn't take long, a few years. And I started to go, holy shit. And I started looking at my hand tattoo and realizing that I was starting to outgrow it. Getting it for no good reason, just because. didn't last very long. So only within a few years, I started realizing, yes, like I didn't like my tattoo, but coming to this really big realization that we're outgrowing tattoos. I looked at all my friends and we're all covered in tattoos. And the penny started to drop, and I started to, like, it's so cliche, but your life always evolves.
Yes,
you're always
exactly.
growing.
That's what we were talking in the last episode.
Your life always evolves. So I started to realize that I had outgrown this tattoo, and my mum may have very well been right.
Yeah.
And I was an apprentice plumber. I was digging holes. I was jackhammering. And to be really honest, there was this one tradesman that I used to work with. And I mean, it was over 12, 15 years ago now. So he probably would have been 55, 60 at the time, probably looked 155. This guy whose body was ruined. And any apprentice that has to spend all day with a body broken man, miserable man complaining, that will shift your mind more than anything. So it was like a tunnel, like a little peephole into the future. I was looking at this guy, listening to him complain every day. And I don't mean to sound mean, but this guy, like his body was...
He hated his body, his job.
He hated his job. His body was in pain. He was miserable. And I was looking at him and then thinking about me going, this isn't for me. There has to be an easy way to do this. So I pretty much dropped the jackhammer, dropped the shovel, and went, fuck this. And I quit. I got qualified, I should say. So the week I got qualified, the week they got my resignation, and I've never looked back since.
And that's when you decided, okay, I have to think about then another plan.
Yeah, well, I made that sound really easy. I didn't just quit and walk out.
Yeah.
I did come up with a plan, and the plan was tattoo removal.
Yeah. Awesome.
I had a car at the time. I had my Harley, my motorbike. I love motorbikes. Sold them all because I couldn't afford the payments on them. Very young, very dumb. Car loans, bike loans, all that stuff. So anyway, got rid of everything, living at home with mum and dad, and opened up the clinic.
Wow.
So I was...
Thank you, your mom.
Yeah, thank you for letting me live rent-free. Yeah, because honestly...
and pretty much she planted the idea of...
She was very happy.
Yeah, of like just like helping, like...
Yeah, I don't think she thought she was helping. I think she was trying to please herself, removing...
Exactly, but like...
Yeah. And like any young person living at home, just that golden opportunity to be able to live rent-free, to be able to make no money for a few years, was really an amazing opportunity they gave me. So I took it and ran with it. Started to, and this is interesting. I didn't have some crazy passion for tattoo removal. I just experienced outgrowing some myself, started removing them, and realized that this is so satisfying.
Yeah.
When a client, like even yourself, you're going through the journey, when somebody's wanted something removed for a fair while, there's a level of, I don't want to say like emotional baggage, but there's a level of pressure, some sort of emotions that they walk around on their back with. Seeing that lift is so rewarding.
Yeah.
That was something my 21-year-old brain wasn't mature enough to
process.
Even see coming. I didn't even, that didn't even cross my mind that I would be, it sounds so cliche, changing lives. But I have that many clients that will stand here or sit here and say that this is life changing. Because your life, you're leaving it.
Pretty much like helping them to give you an opportunity to have another tattoo, pretty much. Or
just leave the past in the past.
Yeah.
I talking about leaving the past in the past, when I see a lot of tattoo regret and different things, and there's some bad decisions, like the amount of people that buy tattoo guns off eBay and tattoo each other is ridiculous. That's been the most shocking thing for me. So there's plenty of bad tattoos, but there's also plenty of good ones. I would say that 95% of tattoos that I remove are perfectly fine. They might be a little shitty, but they're not horrible. They're fine. They might be a bit dated. People have just outgrown them. That's why they're removing them. This one lady, I'll never forget her. It was probably 6-7 years ago. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
After a few treatments, because I see somebody for 10 minutes every 2 months, right? So it takes a few treatments, takes a good 6 months to sort of build up a rapport and sort of slowly knock the wall down and, make them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So a few treatments in to this lady's removal process, she started to open up about why she's removing this specific tattoo. The reason she got the tattoo was her late husband at the time. So she got the tattoo many, many years ago. So the tattoo was 10, 12 years old. When she got the tattoo, her husband had just died. So this is, like I said before, like I sort of really analyze things, and in my opinion, there's not much of a better reason to get a tattoo when your partner that you're with passes away.
Yeah.
As tragic as it is, they didn't cheat on you. So nothing's going to, make you wish in the future that you didn't get it, right? Because they've never done wrong by you. You're dearly and madly in love. They're, the person you hold dearest, and they pass away. So I started to realize it's a pretty good reason to get a tattoo. If any reason, that's a good one. Here's a plot twist. And this is something else that I couldn't even comprehend until this lady told me. 10 years on, her life has moved on.
Yeah.
She has a new partner, which is fine. That's totally normal.
Yeah.
So what she had on her arm was a daily reminder of the grief.
Yeah.
So when she looked at this tattoo, she didn't see, she didn't think of the good times. She didn't think of his smile. She didn't see, she didn't feel happy. It wasn't
the good memories that were supposed to come to your head was something then she was like had to overcome the loss.
She saw this tattoo every day and she remembered the depression, which is heavy. Like it's a heavy topic most people can't even process this. It's really subconscious where your thoughts go. Most people aren't really in control of this. And, you can argue the fact, all right, well, she could have reframed her thoughts and she could have saw this, and remembered the good things. But most people aren't that in tune, okay? So really, really normal for her to remember the grief. She had this constant timestamp of grief and it had to go. Her life had moved on with a new partner, happily married, and she's just constantly reminded of this like deep depression and these really hard times. And then my brain just exploded. Yeah, like the reason, in my opinion, one of the best reasons you could get a tattoo just became one of the worst reasons. And that's through no fault of anybody. That's just life. It does that. It's so crazy. And, on social media and stuff, we always deal with like uneducated opinions where people are like, why would you get a tattoo if you're just going to remove it? Yeah. These people have no idea.
Because sometimes like you have some value, some emotion attached to it. Yeah. And then
it's almost like
past.
Here's a food for thought. It's almost like the more emotion is attached to your tattoo, the more dangerous that is if that emotion changes. Yeah. Because then it has to be removed so much more. It's so crazy.
Yeah. So right. Yeah.
So that's my story for the day.
There you go. Right.
There's plenty of bad tattoos out there, but there's plenty of good ones. And there's some crazy stories.
Yeah. I can imagine like the type of stories that you have had. Like,
do you know once, we won't like go too far into this, but once during a treatment, I asked a lady why she was removing this tattoo. And she told me when she was getting this tattoo, her child got kidnapped. So when she finished the tattoo, got home, the kid was gone. And I was like, what? Yeah, that's a real story. I'm not making this up. So, and this lady had never seen her child since. So like, go figure, shit happens. This poor lady got a tattoo and the tattoo was on the day her child was abducted. And she's never seen this kid since, years later.
How sad.
Crazy. Unbelievable. But just, I hope that reinforces the fact that nobody's wrong for wanting.
For removing, for wanting them to
Nobody's wrong for wanting a tattoo removed.
That would be like a very, like.
Full on.
Yeah, reasonable.
No words.
Reason.
Yeah.
To let it go,
For sure. So I think the moral of that story other than don't abduct kids.
Yeah.
The clear one is if you feel, I should look at the camera, if you feel somewhat ashamed, embarrassed, or a little bit hesitant because you might feel like you're going to be judged, don't. Honestly, when I go into the clinic, I laser 14, 15 people in a day. I'm not standing there judging you.
Yeah.
I've seen way worse, way crazier stories, seen way worse tattoos. Like there's nothing you're going to bring to me that's going to shock me. You will not get an ounce of judgment. So I think that's
nice when you're saying that, because like the expectation and the fears we created, they are way louder, and we magnify these emotions before we come to the experience. So
I feel that.
Yeah.
I think with tattoo regret, I think people beat themselves up over that. And I think part of that beating yourself up is that overthinking stage. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you have tattoo regret, you're very well beating yourself up about it, going, why did I do this? Which then can make you sort of anxious to come to me to get the process started because you're anxious about the whole thing. It's just not necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
So people that remove their tattoos, they're definitely not alone. I can tell you that.
You guys are not alone.
Nope.
We are not alone.
That's exactly right.
Awesome. So I think there was like all
so that's the
questions.
3. Yeah, cool.
The 3 questions for today.
So from the top, what was the first listener's name?
So the first one was about like the academy.
Sorry, the first listener's name?
Oh, Annabelle.
Annabelle?
We had Annabelle, Zach, and Amanda.
Yeah. Annabelle, Zach, and Amanda, thank you very much for
you guys.
Reaching out with your questions. We appreciate you guys interacting so much. All of this information is in my head over the years, and there's nobody better than my beautiful co-host, Rita, and yourselves to extract this. I promise every answer to every question's in my head. I just need your guys' support and questions to help pull it out. And I just want to be a wealth of knowledge in such a industry that's really difficult. That's the whole point.
Very mysterious.
I just want to be a source of information.
Yeah.
I think that's the big thing. Similar to I was talking on how the TRA Academy teaches people tattoo removal like nobody else. I think I want to teach consumers, people thinking about tattoo removal, just be able to teach them how it works, what to expect in this sort of unbiased opinion. Like I have a clinic in Brisbane and the Gold Coast. You could be in Northern Territory for I care. I don't want your business. I want to give you information.
Yeah.
And that doesn't exist.
That's very valuable.
Just guidance.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be like glorify myself or like be some godly figure, but I'm just really aware that this doesn't exist. And I'm aware that it's in my head. And I've got a real passion for tattoo removal. And I think sharing that is the most valuable
the whole process.
And fulfill. Yeah, I think it's the most valuable and fulfilling thing that I can possibly do.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Muito linda.
Great work.
My Portuguese is not polishing up too well. But Rita tries to teach. Awesome. That's a wrap, guys.
Awesome.
We hope you have an amazing Christmas and New Year. I'm sure this episode hopefully comes out just before Chrissy. We'll see you guys early January. And please engage with us, ask your questions, and we're here to help.
Thank you, everyone. And I hope to see you all next year. Woohoo!